In the early hours of September 1st, 1939, the German battleship Schleswig-Holstein attacked a Polish ammunition depot in Danzig, now known as Gdansk. They were the opening shots of World War II. German bombers also destroyed Wielun, a town in western Poland of no strategic importance. 1,200 civilians were killed in the Wehrmacht's first war crime. Shortly afterwards, the German army crossed the Polish border, a scene reenacted for these propaganda pictures. The previous evening, SS troops wearing Polish uniforms had staged an attack on a German radio station. Hitler used this as a pretext to invade Poland.
Seit 5:45 Uhr wird jetzt zurückgeschossen.
German troops also attacked the Polish post office in Danzig. The siege lasted 15 hours. Most of the defenders were shot dead after a German court-martial. But Hitler's ambitions went far beyond Poland. He wanted to conquer Europe and impose his racist Nazi ideology on the entire continent. The early weeks of the conflict saw war crimes committed against Polish civilians. Poland's allies, Britain and France, declared war on Germany, but they were not prepared to intervene militarily. And there was no help from Moscow. The Soviet Union had given Nazi Germany an almost free hand. Germany and the Soviets had publicly agreed on a non-aggression pact and secretly made a deal to carve up Eastern Europe between the two dictatorships. Not long after the German invasion of Poland, the Soviet Union moved in from the east. Poland's fate was sealed when German forces and the Red Army met at the agreed demarcation line.
Well, now there are growing demands in Poland for Germany to pay reparations worth several billion euros as compensation for the devastation the country caused. The topic's likely to be raised as Germany's delegation visits Warsaw on Sunday for commemorations. The question of reparations has caused tension between Germans and Poles.
Warsaw's Old Town, a few days before the 80th anniversary of the start of the Second World War. Leo Mausbach walks this route every day on his way home from work. The 29-year-old German has lived in Poland for 5 years. He actively supports German-Polish economic cooperation, but he didn't expect this particular debate topic to resurface.
I was surprised when I heard about Poland's demands for German reparations, and I was seriously shocked when I saw that many of my friends, young Poles who don't sympathise with the government, were saying that they could understand why the government wants this, why they feel that Germany has not yet dealt sufficiently with what they did to Poland.
Warsaw's Old Town is a symbol of German guilt. The city was completely destroyed during the Second World War and then rebuilt without any help from Germany. And now, after almost 80 years, Berlin is being handed the bill. A parliamentary committee has been working on a draft for the government so they can finally put this topic to rest, even though for decades they have already considered it closed.
Berlin doesn't like the fact we're talking about reparations. We understand that. But for us, it is an important topic. At the moment, we are still calculating the exact reparation sums. We want to present this to Berlin very soon.
But Berlin doesn't seem open to this presentation. So far, they don't even want to talk about it. The topic is considered legally closed.
The Polish government hasn't even sent us an official message, but if they do, then the legal situation requires that we return to the treaties of 1953 and the 2+4 Treaty of 1990. The law considers these claims as regulated and therefore non-existent.
In fact, in 1953, Communist Poland renounced reparations from the then Communist East Germany. So Berlin suggested symbolic gestures instead. Here, for example, in the middle of the city, there are plans for a memorial site for Polish victims of the German occupation during World War II to be built. Leo Mausbach, the young German living in Warsaw, actively supports this idea. He believes that such political gestures could make the upcoming historical debates easier.
I think this would be a very important sign of compassion. It would be a symbol of empathy for the Poles, and a sign that we, as Germans, should never forget what happened.
And this is why Leo Mausbach will be here on Sunday, when the presidents of Poland and Germany remember the 80th anniversary of the German invasion.